Now, our guest today has partied with the Police, twisted and shouted with Tina Turner, rock and rolled with Rod Stewart, and he is nowhere near close to slowing down. Please give a very warm welcome to Jools Holland.
Thank you. So nice to be here. Before we begin, only because one of your main viewers is Ruby Turner, and she's had an operation on her knee, and she's not very well. So can we all wish her a speedy recovery?
Absolutely.
Get well
soon, Ruby.
Get well.
Thank you.
I lived in Birmingham for a while, and Ruby Turner was a goddess in that part of the world.
Great
Absolutely.
With a knee.
Yeah, goddess with a knee, well, thank goodness. And you're off on tour. In fact, this Saturday it starts, doesn't it?
We start with the Cheltenham Jazz Festival this Saturday. We're playing all over the place. Anybody wants to come and see us. Ruby will be joining us in a few weeks, I hope.
On crutches.
On crutches, on a wheelchair, whatever she wants to. It'll make her feel better being on stage. And
Imelda May?
Battersea Park. Imelda May is coming later in this. She'll be in the winter with us.
Right.
So my whole orchestra is looking forward to that, and looking forward to getting out there with all the people. I think actually music is one of the things, or playing on stage, is one of the things that makes people feel much better.
Yeah.
I think it's like, you know, I don't know if all of you feel better if you got a cold or something. If you come and do the show, or if you did a gig, it sort of gives you a...
Yeah. You can forget about it, don't you, for that time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, you've got Imelda May, who you've known for a very long time. You have a real thing, which I really admire, that you really enjoy discovering new talent. It's not kind of all about you and your generation. You really want to find new generations of talent.
I think there's always great new music. You know, it's always, whether it's your generation or older, it might be something... I mean, we're later's starting again, and one of the guests... to remind myself who the guests are. One of the guests I've got them ready. It's Peggy Seeger, who is 90, who's from the folk world.
Wow.
But maybe people don't know her, or you could have somebody who's 20, is just starting. It's the same. It's all the same thing.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily young talent, it's new talent.
It's new, or something you haven't necessarily heard.
Not many people that do that. But you missed out on Adele, didn't you?
Well, a first time round, only because... we were playing in the Fairfield halls, and we got a note.
Good old Croydon.
Croydon, near Croydon.
Yes.
Oh, Croydon. And the nice building, the Fairfield halls.
Yeah, very nice.
1950s of building there. And we got a note, and it said, my daughter plays... Actually, I don't even remember getting a note, but years later, when Adele did come on the show, she said, you know, my mum wrote you a note she said she took me to see you, and she said I fell in love with Ruby when I was 12 at the Fairfield Halls, and she sent a note back saying, could my daughter get up and sing with you? She's really good. I said, well, my tour manager must have seen that. In fact, now I know that, I'll sack him. Big lie. But of course, you get like that. You don't really sort of think of it. She said, but my mum's here. Could you come and say hello? So, yeah, great. So I went over thinking I was going to meet aged mum. Yeah. But mum was sort of very young too.
32.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, there you go.
You play by ear,
yeah, I didn't realise that.
Can you read music?
Not so well. I can do it slowly, but I find it quicker to learn. I've learned by ear.
My mum plays by ear. I don't play anything at all. But do you think it's something that's in you, or do you think anyone could play by ear if they sort of practised enough?
I think if you sort of get obsessed with something, that's the thing, I think. I mean, people sometimes say to me, like Adele's mum writing, but they say, oh, my child is doing this in music, you know, is it something they should do as a career? And I always say, well, that, you know, if they're obsessed with it, if you need to ask, the answer is no.
Yeah.
If you can see they can't do anything else, then the answer is yes. You must have been obsessed with
pure passion.
I was,
you know,
and I've paid for piano lessons for my son for 2 years, and when I watched him and he was still playing with one finger, and I was like, he's not doing that anymore. Because he wasn't obsessed, he didn't come home and practice it like I did.
But that's what happened to me. I could play by ear. It's like also we learn to talk before you learn to read and write.
Yeah.
You know, that comes second.
Yeah.
So the idea of learning to read first and then play by is anyway. But whatever, there's no rules to it really. But my mum and all my nans played piano, so I was hearing it, and I could see I could sort of pick up what they were doing. So I was sent for lessons with nice Miss Brown, but instead of playing sort of boogie-woogie all this, she was playing the Dance of the Pixies, and it was very...
But staid.
A bit boring,
I think
to be
that's
frank.
a lot of the mistakes that piano teachers do with young kids. They make them learn stuff that they're not into.
Scales.
But it makes you great in... I mean, you kind of really learned your stuff at the pit face of the pub circuit, didn't you?
I think I was lucky because you could do that there.
Yeah.
And I think that's
And it
the
got
thing.
you girls.
And if you were lucky, yes. Exactly, yes. But
There is something very hot about
after the guitarist.
It was the music. You were at the back of the queue. or you'd try and play a bit of Bach and they'd all start crying and you pretend you'd written it. I heard what you were saying about jealousy earlier. Yeah, but you were in with musicians, you just pretend it's yours, you know. Yeah. Did you write that Moonlight Sonata?
Well, have there been musicians that you have been, not necessarily begrudgingly, but jealous of? You think that is a supreme talent?
I don't think jealousy would be the word. I think our trumpet player, John Scott, he always says, love what you got, not what you want. And I think there's something in that. And I think the older you get, you realise you've got your own sound and your own voice. You know, you don't... when you're sort of, I don't know, 12 or something, you think, I don't sound like Ray Charles where I want to, but that's all right, you've got to sound like you know, that's the key. I think everybody has to sound like themselves.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's jealousy, I think it's admiration, like you say.
And to aspire to...
And it would be, it would have
been...
been great. You see, I'd love to have written that, but I don't think it's... I think it's just love to have written it, you know, what a great thing.
Very quick, because I think we're running out of time, but I wanted to ask you, because King Charles has obviously talked about having cancer and the importance of talking about it and whatever, and you yourself had prostate, but it was quite a long time before you sort of stepped forward, but you're very vocal now, aren't you, about the importance of testing and...
Well, we did a big concert for it and raised a lot of money for Prostate Cancer UK. I wouldn't say I'm ever so vocal, but I think it is important for everybody to get tested for anything, because nowadays the answer is to get tested soon. So I'm...
you had a routine test, didn't you? You had no symptoms.
That's right, no symptoms at all. And so people might think that, you know, once you get over a certain age, it's important for all people to be tested with things. But I think that what was great about the King, and he is, I have to say, one of the kindest people, talk about caring for everybody. I think it was the fact that he was saying that his diagnosis meant he was very empathetic to people who are ill, because when people are ill, they're in a different world to everybody else. They're in a different universe almost. And I thought he was very good about bringing people in that world into the same world as everybody else.
I mean, it kind of throws a bit of a hand grenade into your life, doesn't it? And suddenly the fridge is covered with appointment notes and medications. And...
Yes. And I mean, personally, I could never, even when your life depends on it, lose interest halfway through what they're saying. I really should be paying attention to this. And I'm sort of thinking, oh, that's quite a nice picture he's got on the wall there.
Get me back to the piano.
Well, you're very much back to doing absolutely what you're doing best. So a new series of Later with Jools Holland starts on May the 18th, Sunday at 10 o'clock at night, I think.
I think it's the first time we've been on a Sunday, so hopefully that will go well. We've got people like Pulp, Beverly Knight, Franz Ferdinand, Self-Esteem, Peggy Seeger, as I said, and these are just on my memory, and Cynthia Erivo, who is absolutely amazing, who's in Wicked.